Something about you is different. Some kind of energy's messing with all the chemicals in my brain. Feel the temperature rising, that look in your eyes paralyzing. Forever you're never leaving my face. Heart is racing here now, never wanna wait out. I want you right up to the end. Oh, you know what I'm feeling, even if it doesn't make sense. You don't have to guess, no. You're a minor. Something about you is different. Some kind of energy's messing with all the chemicals in my brain. Feel the temperature rising, that look in your eyes paralyzing. Forever you'll never leave in my face. Heart is racing here now, never wanna wait out. I want you right up to the end. Oh, you know what I'm feeling, even if it doesn't make sense. You don't have to guess, no. You're a minor.
What's up, everybody? Back with another video. Just wanted to do a video. Had some time to kill. Hope everybody's doing good. And, well, as good as we can be in these situations. I'm able to go live stream now through StreamYards. So that's a good thing. But, yeah, so just wanted to do some family court talk. I touched on it a little bit on my last long live stream. This one's not going to be as long, but you know, my court situations, what I've been doing for so many years, and you know, everything in between. Understanding the family court process. You know, just learning so much by going through it. And me, I focus on custody, okay? And what I do is I understand the Constitution and I just apply the Constitution to my situation, and how I help everybody else is I apply the Constitution, constitutional principles, constitutional case laws, and case precedents, which override and overrule administrative processes all day long. Okay? So 99.99% of everybody, and I would almost say 100%, but I'm the only one. I'm sure there's others, but that I know of that's in an actual family court process and not a administrative process. And They look the same, sound the same, but they're definitely not the same because one being the judicial, okay, operates under that framework, which is judicial proceedings. So it's hard to explain to people, but it's very easy to explain at the same time. All you have to do is basically, read your paperwork because it's going to be right on it. As soon as someone shows me their paperwork, I know immediately, oh, they're taking you through the administrative process. They're going to violate your rights. If you have an attorney, that attorney is going to um, have power of attorney over you and your rights. So they speak for you. So you no longer speak in court. That's how it works, whether people want to believe it or not. Again, I'm not here for beliefs. I'm here for facts and, standing on business, which is the law. The emotional stuff, not, I don't get into all that. He said this, she said that. Okay, okay. I get it, but in law, that's irrelevant. All right. A lot of people go through a lot of different things. There's a brother that hit me up that I'm gonna be helping out, and he's talking about his domestic case. Well, there is that has nothing to do with child support. If there's no harm done to the child, and you have not went through due process for harm to the child, then there's nothing to talk about. The courts could say whatever they want. That's what administrative processes do. They use those things. Oh, the affects the kids, and all the domestic violence. There was no. Okay, that's totally separate. They know people are going to go through things. They cannot hold you to that. The only way they can strip anything from you is if you harmed your children. That's it. Simple and plain and simple. And you have to go through due process and be convicted of harming your children. Okay? Simple, plain. That's cut and dry. You know. So yeah, that's just the difference between administrative and judicial. All right. They try to keep you out of the judicial branch of the family court. Basically, the same court, but acting in a judicial capacity instead of the administrative one that they present to you. That is bullcrap. All right. It's straight nonsense. All right. It's Jerry Springer. It's let's see which one we can pin, and so we can benefit. Let's pin the beneficiary so we can become the beneficiary. Let's take one of our pieces of property because you only got parental rights, okay? And make one parent, all right, pay for the neglect and abuse, okay, to that child. That's all they're doing, guys. Sad how they do it, but it is what it is, man. You know, and that's another thing is people don't understand that you got a petitioner and a respondent, okay? And the petitioner is the one bringing a suit, all right, against you. How does the state get involved? Well, I mean, I don't want to go all the way down that rabbit hole, but through the birth certificate and us pledging our children up for property, all right, to get certified from the government, okay? When we do that, we create rights, parental rights. We only have rights to our children. They're not ours anymore. That's why the state does what it does. Until you claim that, and I'm not talking all the internet jargon. I'm just talking about you're asserting they're never going to come out and say, look, we own your kids. No. So you got to show them, no, these are my children. Okay. You're going to follow the law. You're not going to do an administrative proceeding upon me. And you're going to act accordingly to the judicial laws of the family court of law. Okay? It's all going to be done under the confines of law. That's it. All right? There is no in between, and again, this is for people who want to stand on business. Okay? This is for people who want, okay, their children. All right? This is for people who want to be in their sons and daughters' lives. All right? I use children, I know what that means, but you know, I do this for parents who want to be a part of their sons and daughters' lives. Now I get it. I don't discriminate against anybody except for people who've harmed their children physically. Okay? If there's parents out there that don't see their kids for whatever the case, hey, look, things happen in life. All right? That's just human nature. Things happen in life and people are hard to deal with. You don't no nobody owns anybody, okay? That's the magic trick. No one owns anybody, okay? If you want to be responsible, you assert your responsible, okay? You res- you okay? You stand on your responsibilities, all right? If you want to be a responsible parent and stand on it, then you got a right to be responsible to do it. All right? You can be non-responsible. You can be, you know what? I don't want to deal with that over there. You got every right to do that. All right? And nobody can tell you otherwise, and not even the law can tell you otherwise. It doesn't work like that. The governments work for us. We are the power. We are the people. Point blank, period. You got to assert it. We only got a little glimmer of time before it's all taken away if people don't wake the heck up. I don't want to use all the words I normally use, when I'm doing other stuff streaming, you know. But people got to wake the hell up to what is going on. All right. But while we still have this here, you need to be using it. All right. Understand this had me free as a bird during Mr. 19. Okay. And I don't want to say it because I'm already heavily censored on platforms for talking about what happened in 2020 with the magic germs. Okay. I'm extremely censored on these platforms. All right. I scaled back from all that because I realized that most people claim to be awakened are actually asleep. So, I've been doing a lot of things for many years and learned a lot of things, but I've always studied and focused on law. And even more so now that I'm not doing that, I'm more focused. Also because me standing on business got real results. So now I get to tell you how it is. I mean, this is, you only know how good your information is until you stand on it and it reigns supreme. Okay. So that's what I've done in my situations. That's what I've done, in non-family court situations is assert my constitutional rights. All right. Which the Constitution doesn't give you any rights, but I just say that so you understand what I'm talking about. I just apply the Constitution to officials that think they're above it. That's it. That's all I do. So in the family court instance, that's all you're doing here is you're putting them, they want to look like judges and act like judges. Well, guess what, guys? Make them a judge. Make these people a judge. They want to act like one, look like one, sound like one, push paperwork like one. We'll make them one. That's all you got to do. Hold them to it. Say, oh, okay, this is hypothetically me. In my mind, I'm like, okay, you want to play the judge? I'm going to make you act like a judge. And that's what I did. That knowledge came to me, and I'm like, how did I do that? And I go back and look. I'm like, wow. Unbeknownst to me, I was already making them move according to their jobs. Which is, hey, you're pretending you're a law. I gotta treat you like one. Because guys, if you don't do that, they're gonna treat you outside of the law, and you're gonna be under an administration. Simple and plain, plain and simple. In administration, your rights are subverted. Okay? Your rights are limited. Okay? Your inherited rights do not apply. Okay? Evidence does not apply. They don't, an administrative proceeding doesn't even have the ability to hear evidence because evidence has what? Due process attached to it. So they can't hear evidence. It don't matter what they try to do or what they try to say, evidence and this and evidence of that. It's not going to be evidence. It's all hearsay, okay? Believe me, it's all hearsay when it's said and done because administrative hearing officers, court attorneys, referees don't have the ability to decide law, to decide where they belong. Okay? You know? And again, like this video is just a rough draft, of me just talking. And again, I'm trying to build this, this platform to help people. And again, all I need is to help one person and I'm good, off here. And I'm good, I got a McLaren. Got a McLaren on the back of that car. I'm getting towed. So understand the difference. Administrative, judicial. All right. Now child support, that's a whole different beast that I'm not going to talk about right now. I do have a brother that, he can help you out. I know basics. I know a lot more than basics, but it's just not something that I don't like getting involved with it. But my thing is custody. It's either full or half, 50-50. There's nothing less unless you hurt your children, your kids, your sons and daughters. All right. Whatever label you want to put on them, that's what it is. Just standing on business, man. The people that they start acting like what they're supposed to, because when a petitioner brings a respondent into the courtroom, so if you're a respondent or a petitioner, what you're doing is you're coming in because you're suing somebody. Now, there's a court attorney referee there, okay, that turns into a goddamn authority figure, okay? No. This is why you demand a judge, because now the judge is just going to be there observing, okay? Taking down facts, all right? Looking at the law. What does the law say? All right? That's what's supposed to be happening, not this administrative garbage. That's nonsense, guys. That's straight trash, all right? You're going to get railroaded. I don't even care if you're winning. You're still getting railroaded because you're letting them create an order under an administrative agency, okay, that it's not backed by your rights that are inherently yours under the Constitution. It just ain't. And this is what I show people to do, all right? And I help people do, is get in the right jurisdiction, which is a judicial proceeding. No, it's, I had somebody, that's just Mr. Know-It-All. I don't need no Mr. Know-It-Alls, all right? Oh, no, judicial proceeding. Oh, you mean you're going to go to district court? No, the same court you're sitting in. Their judges surround all those attorney, referees, court magistrates, and all that stuff. All right? They don't want to listen to these cases. All right? They stick in Supreme cases and then kick the Supreme cases down to the administrators, let them do the dirty work, okay? And then pull it back up to the Supreme Court cases and the Supreme Court and then just make the final decision, sign off on it. Okay, it's sufficient enough because they created a legal contract. So let me sign off of it. It is now hereby ordered, or it is here now adjudged and decreed. It is here now by agreed upon by the parties. It is here by now um, brought forth and ordered that A, B, C, and D should happen. That's all they're doing, guys. Meanwhile, you've been through the whole administration. Oh, the judge said this, and the court's doing this to me and that. Why would you be going to a court and the court be doing something to you? Like, come on. Doesn't that even feel and sound wrong? All right? And it ain't their fault. You're letting them, because once you push back, all that stuff stops. They don't even try it anymore. It all stops, guys. I mean, think about it. It makes no sense. And then it's not the people of the state of the New York versus respondent versus petitioner with petitioner versus. No, it's not that. Sometimes it is. Through what? Child support. You got DSS. They'll take you to they'll take you to court. That's a whole other beast. I'm talking about family court, custody, visitation. What actually determines the child support. That's where you should be focusing on the most, is the custody and then child support after. Because if you get full, you're going to get child support. If you're getting 50-50, there is no child support. There's no obligation to pay when you split the time. Okay? You're afforded equal protections under the law, and you have equal rights under the law unless harm has come forward and you've been convicted of harm to your children. All right? It's literally that simple. It's that simple. And you put the jurisdiction judicially in whatever court you're in. Whatever family court administration you're in, you just change it to judicial. You stop whatever attorney referees in there, or court support magistrate, or court-appointed referee, or court-appointed attorney, whatever it is. And if it is a judge sitting in there, you make the judge act out. No, you have to file the necessary paperwork to put them in a judicial proceeding. It stops all the administrative nonsense. Because what it is it's acting as a judicial proceeding, but it's pushing you through all the administrative procedures. One of them being like, they'll put you through these programs. You don't got to go. If you have not been ordered to go to any of these programs, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's parenting classes, whether it's anything of those things, you don't got to go to none of that crap. You don't have to go to any of that crap. Now, if it's counseling for your kids, you might want to go to that, but technically you still don't have to go, okay? Unless it's ordered, and you still don't got to go, because if it's ordered, all right, you'll have to go if it's ordered, but you really don't got to go because it's not really an order, because they'll threaten you, but they won't do nothing. But because the order is not signed and it's not under a judge, it's under the administrative process, so they can order you all day long, okay? The only time that order becomes specifically valid, all right, is when you go through due process for that order. If somebody orders you to go do a domestic violence court class or a parenting class, then it needs to be justified under the law on why they're telling you need to go there, because that means you've been convicted or accused of a crime and you need due process. Okay? If you're accused of doing something, then you need to be convicted, then they can hereby order you to do so. If there's none of that, then there is no order. Okay? You're just volunteering yourself for that, and you're signing up for it, and you will hold you to it. Okay? Now, what ends up happening is they'll hold you and say, oh, contempt of court. All right? And then you'll have a contempt of court hearing, and then you'll show up or you won't show up, and then that's your due process time right there. If you don't show up, it goes to default, and then you're found in contempt. Then you could face jail, fines, and all kind of crap from the administrative proceeding because that they're going to say that was your due process. But if you show up, now they got to say, oh, now they got to convict you of it, okay, with evidence and the actual court case, all right, which they never do. But what they do is they give you to show up and mumble your lips, flap them back and forth, and talk about whatever y'all did, and therefore it starts to become binding. You're playing Jerry Springer. Then you get into all the Jerry Springer theatrics, and then it looks real, feels real, but it's still fake under the law, okay? This is really what they're doing in there, guys. And we are signing up for it. We are volunteering it, and we are participating. And guess what? They consider that due process. So now you went through all that, and then whatever. Oh, yeah, yeah, we got into a little beef. The kids they were in the house next door, but we got, well, that's harmful, Mr. Responded, to the children, right? Yeah, well, that we consider this when we're doing this, that, in these situations. Oh, I understand, Your Honor. Well, we're going to advise you and hereby order you to go to parenting classes and domestic violence, courses or whatever the heck they say, and you're like, okay, because you're scared. And the reality is, you could have told them, you know what? How about you take your classes and you go to them. I'm refraining from using my favorite language, to make it fit, sound more, I'm gonna go ahead and say it anyways. So plug your ears if you don't like cursing, because that's how I usually am, and that's where I'm gonna end up on this channel anyways, with a lot of the way I am. But I'm just, being nice for the people that come in, and I don't want to be too harsh with the words. But anyways, if you knew what was going on, you could have told them to shove those. That you say easy. Y'all go to them motherfuckers. Y'all go to the parenting classes. What is you talking about? I got to go to a parenting class and a domestic violence for what? What am I on trial? Have I been convicted of something here? No, Responded, you haven't. All right, so what the fuck you talking to me about the shit for? And that's it. That's really how you're supposed to be dealing with these people. Look, there is no talking. The law talks. If I harm my children, if you can't find that, shut the fuck up and let's move on. Do they got more rights than I do? No, Responded, they don't. Have I done something to have my rights subverted? No, Responded, you haven't. Have I harmed my children? Well, there's allegation. Have I been through due process and been convicted of harming my children, and or plead and said I fucked up my kids and whatever the hell else? Have I done that, Your Honor? No. All right, shut the fuck up and let's move on. That's what's really supposed to be going on. And the reason why I say it like that is because I'd be tired of something that's so simple. People just don't fucking get it. We volunteer ourselves for all kind of trouble that is actually really simple. If you ain't did shit, you ain't got shit to worry about. The only thing you got to worry about is learning how to stand on it. And they will throw every trick at the book. CPS will be knocking at your door. They'll be trying to get you to cooperate. They'll make you feel bad for not cooperating. They'll say, well, it'll look better on the judge. You know what I learned to say? Fuck all y'all. Let's let it make it look bad. I want you motherfuckers to come to my door, kick the bitch in, better yet, get SWAT and a battering ram, tear the whole front of the fucking house off so I can sit here and record y'all dumbasses doing some stupid shit that y'all ain't got no business doing, because I ain't harmed no children, and I know I ain't harmed no children, so go ahead. That's what I really want y'all motherfuckers to do. So, no, I'm not talking to CPS. No, CPS ain't coming nowhere around me or my kids, because, if they're old enough to talk, they can say no, then them motherfucker, that's what they're going to say. When they see you, they're going to be well equipped to say, we ain't talking to y'all motherfuckers, because guess what? We don't have to. Why? Because it's our right. We don't gotta speak to y'all motherfuckers. Do your investigation, find abuse and neglect, or shut the fuck up. That's how we supposed to be dealing with these people. That's what I used to tell them. I got to the point many years ago where I told them, no, 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 no. Y'all come kick the bitch in. Y'all come in here. Y'all want to, oh, well, you know, Mr. Responder, we want to just make sure the kids are okay. Hey, do you have any evidence that they're not okay? Well, we do have, calls and allegations of, from who? The fucking mother? Or did she have somebody else call this time? Which one is it? Well, we can't disclose that from, yeah, because I already fucking know. You ain't got shit. Ain't nobody in harm. I understand this whole entire fucking process. So you can save yourself gas money, a lot of paperwork, and just either found it, and go try to take me to an Article 10 proceeding, because I'm in New York State, or shut the fuck up and stop calling me. And then guess what? It usually goes away. And then guess what? You get to show up in court, and then they get this for all the years that they've been getting CPS called on your ass, and ain't nothing ever happened. You get to sit there and smile at them when you're in there again. If you're like me and you just attract bitter baby mamas, right? Or messed up exes, right? Baby daddies, right? You get to sit in there and say, oh, well, he's had multiple CPS contacts. And I get to say, all right, hold on. I'm in New York State. It's going to be different in your state. Have I ever been to have I ever been through an Article 10 proceeding and been found neglect or abuse of my children? No. All right. So can you please have the lawyer, the child's attorney, stop bringing that up because it's irrelevant. And the next time they bring it up, okay, I want a sanction to be put on the record for both of them for violating court ethics and court procedural rules. Because that, you better have evidence of me being convicted or me saying, yes, I did it, pleading guilty to harming and neglecting my children. If you ain't got that, they shouldn't even be talking to you or about it at all. That's real. That's real. That's as real as I can put it to you. All right. I just, man, I got to a point where I enjoyed getting a call from CPS. I would go out of my way to call them back if I missed the call. I was like, sure, did you guys call? Oh yeah, Mr. Responded, yeah, I know. And again, yeah. I was like, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, the same thing I told you before and the last other 10 people that, if you're gonna send it to somebody else, please relay them the message. Don't bother coming, okay? I'm not gonna answer the door. The kids are gonna tell you they're not talking to anybody if they answer the door. And then you could see them if they even decide to answer the door, but they're probably not going to answer the door because they're already trained, all right, through trauma and through understanding the situation. Because I know some of you guys might have had this where your kids started getting scared with the doorbell rang because CPS been called so many goddamn times, But when they got older, they understood, they ain't got to talk to nobody. They ain't got to answer the door. They know who it is. If it ain't nobody guess what? It ain't nobody They gotta ring the doorbell and go. That's it. So, I said, look, you can do what you want, drive by. I mean, you guys do whatever you want. I said, but always put this in your notes. I said, I want you guys to come with the police, no, we don't want to do that. We never want to resort to that. I said, I know, but I want you to, because that'll be so traumatizing to my children. And guess what? I will be pretty wealthy after I take you guys to court, okay? And sue your guys for violation of due process, endangering the welfare of a child, okay? And God knows what else stems from that, okay? So don't be scared of CP. If you ain't did nothing, I'm only talking to people who have not harmed their children. I don't deal with people who have harmed their children. Point blank, period. I don't deal with people like that. All right? If you harmed your children, I can't help you because there's harm. I talk to people who are righteous. Nobody's perfect. I'm talking to people who not harming their kids, all right, who ain't beating up their girlfriends and boyfriends. I'm not with that, all right? I ain't with all that. Now, corporal punishment, that's a difference. That's legal. But there is a thing of abuse, okay? People are out here abusing their children. All right, let's not, I've came across people that they want me to help them. I said, look, you got to what? All right, I need to see what they're alleging. And once I see what they're alleging, I'm like, well, shit, you even said you did this. I can't help you, man. You can't be doing no shit like that, man. And I get it. People may be saying, look, that's not for me. I'm out for the righteous, That's just me. I can't help you if you fucked up your kids. Yeah, you got to pay the consequences. It just is what it is. They got a job to do, and this is why that's something about me. Like, I don't wholeheartedly discontinue the system. Okay, it needs a lot of fixing and a lot of work, but there are people who unfortunately need to be administered justice upon. Okay, there's people not righteous. There's people not in justice, so they need justice. Unfortunately, administered upon themselves. Okay, and that I agree with. I'm not one of these old anti-government. No, the government. No, 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 no. There's people that harm their children, hands down. There's people on drugs, all kind of damn. There's all kinds of goddamn problems. Okay, you can't ignore that. All right. So that's what these programs are for. All right. They abuse them. The programs, they apply to everything. No, it don't work like that. All right. But there is harm that unfortunately happens for children. And there also is another side of this where they do get money for removing children from people's homes without anything going on. Okay. I'm helping them people. I'm helping y'all. All right. The ones that harm the children. I don't give a damn. A drinking problem, a drug problem. If you ain't harmed your kids, hey, we got it fucked up out here. All right. There's a lot of things that contribute to alcoholism and drug use. I don't hold that shit against nobody. I don't hold alcohol. I don't none of, as long as you're not abusive to your children and you ain't beating up your damn partners, okay? Everybody's gonna fight. Everybody's gonna fight some way, shape, or form with words, with emotions. Some people do get physical. That shit happens. All right. That ain't the end of the world. That shit happens. All right. But it's a case by case basis. All right. If Sally smacked Jim in the face with a bottle and Jim knocked her eyeball socket in with his fist, that shit's warranted. Sorry, that's some warranted stuff. Sorry. If vice versa, if Bob, puts his hands around Jill's neck and Jill cuts his goddamn half his damn arm off, hey man, things happen. It shouldn't be. This stuff shouldn't be going on. But if it happens, it happens. All right. Those are unfortunate ass situations. I don't want to be dealing with it, but it happens. It is not the end of the world. Okay. Long as you ain't harming your children. All right. Everybody's got a right to defend themselves from anybody. Don't discriminate by gender, okay? You guys might believe that gender plays a role. I'm not one of them. If a woman smacks me, you best believe, okay? Depends on how hard. I could take a hit. We all got to know, okay, look, that didn't hurt. Some guys out there, some women out there, come on, y'all be doing all kind of wicked, stupid craziness. Y'all know what I mean. If you're getting hurt and abused, all right, you got a right to defend yourself, point blank, no matter who it is, okay? There is no discrimination. That's rules of nature, okay? That's common man's law. Look, she was raking my eyes and grabbing my freaking hair and trying to gouge my eyes out, so I socked her. Yeah, that's okay. That's legitimate. Sorry about that. Let me check something. Sorry about that. I got a phone call. So again, you guys get the picture. You know what I'm saying. You know, um, just hey, your children ain't harmed. You know, And again, I've been through a lot. I've been doing this for over 20 years, being dragged into court from two exes for over 20 years. Currently in the court now with the one ex. Two exes, one I'm still in court with. She's alienated the crap out of my kids, all right? But when my thing is done, God, I mean, it's going to be a blueprint for a lot of people. I've been, you know, I've been through the ringer. I've had everything done to me. I've been accused of everything. I went through the school. Any situation that y'all had, I probably had that. I've been accused of every single thing, except for the most wickedest thing ever. And I don't want to say it on here, and that's just sick stuff. But there's parents out there that accuse other parents of touching their children. That I ain't never had this. I might be sitting behind walls if one of the parents, one of my exes said some wicked shit like that. But there's parents out here who do that stuff, guys. And I don't ever want to go through that. I sat through a trial of one of my homeboys, okay, that had to go through that. And he stood on business. I went to that trial and they see that crap, man. It was unbelievable, man. That his baby mama could do that to him. He was facing like 10 years in prison, man. And, went through trial, boom, acquitted. He was acquitted, you know. And then, like a lot of this stuff woke me up, man. Woke me up dealing with these, women and men. That's another thing. I got advice for days on relationships, man. I mean, I got some foundations that help a lot of people out. Simple foundations. Hard ones. Like I get to the bare minimum to where it just I love what my whole life has been about moving through life with least resistance. So whatever way was the easiest, that's the way I've always tried to go. I want it easy. It could be so dynamically complex, but yet easy. Meaning it was so complex and dynamic to get there, but once I did it, it was simple. And that's how I like to maneuver through life. So I found ways, and I've given people these pointers, and they came back and thanked me. I got older sons. They thank me all the time. They have something like, "Damn, man, thanks, Dad, for that advice, man." You know, because I grew up around it. They see it through me, through others that I know, and me helping people. You know, so that's another thing, man. You gotta know, you gotta have morals and principles. And morals and principles gotta reign supreme over beliefs and emotions. That's it. Like you can believe this and you can feel that way, but you gotta have morals and principles. Meaning, you know what? No matter how bad it feels, no matter how emotionally I am, my morals is too strong. I can't do that. My principles are too strong. I can't do that. I'm not with that. You know? And I teach people this. I don't teach. I help people. I coach people. Like give them good advice, like a bigger brother, or older brother, or a younger brother. Just a good advice to give them. Like, look, do this, try this. It's gonna be hard. I'll even tell them how to look for it, what to look for, what to do. If you get in that situation, you know. But they always come back and thank me, like, man, wow, man, like. I was hard headed at first. I remember you was telling me this, telling me that. You even got mad at me, this and that, da 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 da. Because I tell people, like, look, all right, look, man, do whatever you want, man. Hey, just yeah. I told you. I don't feel like when you come back to it, and be like, I told you so. I'm gonna be like, I told you so, but I'm gonna still be here to still help you out. And that's what I tell people. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to. How many of you know that won't take advice from you, or they won't listen to you or something because they feel like you say, oh, you know it all, or I don't want to feel like I'm wrong, da 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 da. No. Anything I give to somebody, I give it to them to where they come back and say, you know what, damn, even after all that I did and said, and you said, damn, it worked out. You're right. And I don't want to hear I'm right. I say, no. I wasn't right. You were right. You were right all along. Don't use me. You know, all I did was gave you the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and the foundation to do it. You did it. I didn't do nothing. What I do, you helped me. That's what I tell people. I say, by you doing good and overcoming your situation, you helped me out. How did you help me out? Because I helped you out. That's an even exchange. That's how it's supposed to be. That's what I do. Everything that I do, I ain't asking for nothing. All right. I don't want nothing. I ain't asking for nothing. All I want you to do is succeed. That's it. I ain't looking for nothing. I ain't looking for shit. I'm just looking for you to come back and say, yeah, man, I made it through. I got it. I did this. I did that. Oh, yeah, this worked, that worked, this worked. Oh, yeah, he did this. She did that. They did this. The kids did this. Da, 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 da. Yeah. I mean, it's just how it works. I tell them that's how it works. You did it all. You helped me. You helped me understand humanity. You helped me understand you better. You helped me understand that, you know what? We can overcome things. You know what? We can help each other out. You know what? I can be the difference in your life that you can be the difference in my life at the same time, because at the same time, by you succeeding, I'm succeeding. If you fail, I fail. And that's how we should be thinking. But no, we live in a world of haters. We live in a world, well, where if you're in the United States, you're in a country, a corporation that breeds, unfortunately, and harvests narcissistic people. Okay, they make these motherfuckers over here. Like, this is the breeding ground for narcissism. Okay, not just in relationships. I'm talking about in life in general. All right, we're living in a society where it's you believe me, or get out of my life, or get away from me. I want to see you away. I want to see you dead. I've been wished dead a million times. I've been wished the most heinous things for calling out, ignorance, you know? So yeah, I'm probably gonna go about an hour, and again, my streams are gonna be long. They're not short streams. I don't have an Instagram mentality, so I don't want you to have an Instagram, Snapchat, reel mentality, meaning a 2 to 3 second attention span, which now it's probably down to, last time I checked, it was down to like, if they don't get your attention within the first 3 to 5 seconds, they're not gonna get it. So my shit is always gonna be long, okay? Because this journey is long. Life journey is long. Knowledge is long. Nothing's quick. If you're getting quick hit, quick fix, guess what? You're not retaining it. You're not getting it. You're not getting no foundation. No, it's not an awakening. No, there's levels to the understanding. Okay. I want you to be able to go tell somebody else how to do this. I don't want to. I don't want to be a harvester of information like these people on the internet. I don't want to be like that. The only way to beat the system and change the system, not beat the system, you don't want to beat the system. The only way to change the system, okay, and win what's right, which is your right, is to learn it. So if this was common knowledge, guess what? They couldn't even attempt to put a court attorney referee wouldn't have a job, because an administrative proceeding would never happen anymore, because we would know, look, no, we're not doing that. Get that out of my face. No, that out of my face. An attorney? Well, I shouldn't be paying this attorney for no more than $10. You know, this should be a $10 ass attorney. What the fuck you talking about? Pay me $5,000 retainer, $2,500. Give me 500 up front. Pay me, they'll take anything because they're gonna scrape you. They don't give a damn about you. It should be a $10 attorney service fee. Matter of fact, they should provide them. What? Oh wait, okay. Listen. What'd you say? Well, if you can't afford an attorney, then one will be appointed to. Okay, appoint me an attorney, and I'm gonna give him this paperwork to push through your asses. And if when he's gonna sign, I'm not signing his fucking contract to retain him. He's gonna sign my contract for me being his motherfucking client. And if he fails to perform under the confines of the laws and the Constitution of the United States, then this motherfucker's going to be held liable, okay, and response able. That's how it's supposed to be working, okay, not the other way around. All right, that's how it should be working. We got to retain attorney because, oh, okay. how about we flip the game and we learn this shit and understand this shit, and then they won't even come out of the mouth. If you can't afford an attorney, we don't want to say that no more because now they're using the attorneys against us. And when well, and then when we really get the nuts and bolts and really learn this shit, then we can start going in the back room. That's a whole nother video. The back room is where they don't want you to know about. When if you start mentioning back room shit, they might lose your file. Say, look, whatever this motherfucker wants, he's got to get it. Because now he's talking about the back room. And what I'm talking about is where all the funds go, where the bonds are, okay? Where the performance bonds are, right? Where they're getting the money from the federal government, right? From the social services department, right? For that abused and neglected child, right? That got you as a respondent, right? Because you are the abuser and the neglector being a respondent, right? That's why you should always file paperwork. Meaning, if they're going for full custody or have whatever custody, you need to be doing the same fucking thing so you even it out. So y'all both a fucking respondent and y'all both a goddamn petitioner. All right? Because they'll double dip in the background, okay? I get it. They'll double dip in the back room, okay? But they get roughly 60 to 50 grand for each abused and neglected child that they keep, and they put you through the administrative programs, okay? Parenting classes, reunification classes, domestic violence classes, child and parent counseling, and whatever the fuck else they dream up and create a program in your neighborhood. That's where the money goes. And that's how they report back to the federal government saying, oh, well, we provide all these programs, so this money goes into our pool, okay, which we invested in, okay, create bonds through, okay, then we assign a case number, and then we go monetize that with a security, okay, and then those motherfucking shits be right on the goddamn duns, okay, meaning business. And I know that was a mouthful, but so without being too long-winded, I'm gonna cut this off in hours. I got about 8 minutes left. Boy, does time fly when you're having fun talking about the family courtroom. And again, guys, everybody that gets you. I was talking to a brother the other day, and hopefully when his case is done, he can do a testimonial. But I was talking to a brother the other day, okay, and then another brother the day before that. They found out, they get caught up in the moment. You get pressured in them, but they look for that, man. They look for weakness. They look for situations, okay? They look for it, you know? And this is how it goes in New York State, and many other states are like this, okay? And a lot of people get in these things. Everybody's going to argue. Everybody's going to fight. Most all cases, 90% of cases that flood through the family court, okay, are motherfuckers who break up. What happens when you break up? Well, y'all fight. Whether it's verbally, non-verbally, emotionally, sometimes physically. Most of the time than not, it's some physical shit, okay? Which is unfortunate, but guess what they use? They use that shit against you, man. That's why I'm going to use this, use this right here. Bob and Sally are together. They don't have no child. Sally tells Bob to fuck off. Bob smacks Sally upside the head with a beer bottle. Not that dramatic, but he just smacks her in the head with his hand or whatever. She calls the police. Police come. They do their spew, their famous talk. Oh, I take both of you to jail or one of you to jail. What are you going to do? They're together. You got to leave. Whatever. Y'all, we know what they do. Bottom line is, okay, say Bob gets arrested. All right. He catches an assault charge or a harassment charge. Okay. He goes to jail or gets an appearance ticket. Okay. Then he goes through the court process. Okay. Then it's done. Okay. Wait, what? What happened? Okay. Now, Bob and Jill, again, are together. Years later, they have Bobby and Susie, little children now, little offsprings, right? They got little little violent offsprings running around, right? Smacking each other, right? So now Sally gets mad at Bob again, and Sally slaps the shit out of Bob, and Bob smacks the shit out of her. All right, Bob calls 911 this time. We'll make it fair. So Bob, 911 comes, pull up, roll out. Oh, you guys, blah, 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 blah. All right, whatever. Well, we can take it both together. Okay, okay, okay. Calm down, whatever. Okay. I want him arrested. They fight back and forth. All right, we're going to take both of your ass to jail. But let's just say one. Bob volunteers himself to go to jail. All right, for whatever reason. So now, guess what, guys? It's the same situation, but guess what? They got little Jack and Jill Susie running around. Kids. What do they do now? Oh, what court do you end up? Family court now, not the criminal court. Totally different. Some states they still do it, but if there's kids involved, oh, they put you to the family court, domestic violence. Why do they do that? Oh, they're gonna get the bag from the abused and neglected child because Bob, we're about to put him through the ringer because he's the perp that put the kids in fucking danger. And hold on one second, guys. So he's the perp that put the kids in danger. So, they got now he's going there and they're playing domestic violence in the family court. Oh, you gotta go to the domestic violence court. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's a whole nother farce. I've been down that road too and ain't did a goddamn thing. I'll never lay a hand on any damn body. Okay? I mean, I'm talking about if I'm with somebody, I ain't gotta lay a hand on you, and I never will. Okay, that's the question. That's the first thing we ever signed in a relationship, as I let them know, flat out the back. I did it my first relationship, and I met her when I was 17. Well, I had this principle for a long time, and I said, "Hey, if you ever got to call the cops on me, we ain't together no more." We're just not. We ain't. That's it. You might as well cheat on me. You got a better chance of working that shit out than if you dial 911 and call your real boyfriend on me. Because that's women in narcissistic America's real man. If y'all haven't grabbed onto that yet, their real man is the law. Okay, when your ass get online, they call they real man on your ass fast. Okay, so I knew this principle since I was young. You're not about to call your real man on me. I'm gone. I ain't never gonna touch you. So if you dial 911 for whatever fucking reason, I can't ever, ever be around you again. One, that blew all trust because I got morals and principles. And two, police kill people for whatever reason. Okay? I could be digging a booger and he was reaching for a gun and now I'm dead. No, you dial 911, we ain't together no more. Second relationship, they knew that. The minute hey, you ever dial 911, I'm gone. And that'll be another video. That mother, all right, she actually went through with that. And that was the last time she ever heard from me again until court, 2.5 years later. Okay. You got to have morals and principles. If you ain't got them, then, hey, you're going to be going through hell and high water. And even when you got morals and principles, guess what? You still go through hell and high water. But anyways, now, what was I getting at? Well, there's domestic violence. If you ain't got no kids, criminal. Civil criminal. If you got kids, family court. Civil. Right? That's how they railroading a lot of people. They'll get you in there. You thinking you're doing bad. Oh, I'm bad. Oh, no, that shit's supposed to be separate. That's why it always gets worked out, guys, because they understand everybody going to fight once in a while. Okay? I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to get anybody ideas, but y'all better look up corporal punishment. It don't go for just children, okay? You better look at the laws again and understand that if you accept an assault charge, then you, motherfucker, assaulted somebody. But if you are just she hit me, I hit her, we got into a fight, it just happened, nobody, We're yeah, okay. She get order protection, I get one, whatever. We'll stay away from each other. We'll refrain from doing that shit because it's not good. But they know people are going to do this, okay? But there's due process. If you ever see a mother effer in trial for some domestic, yeah, for like murder and shit like that, but real fucked up shit, I get it. But I'm talking about a regular little spattle tattle that people get into, okay? I don't get into shit like that. But I'm just saying, people get into the stuff. I told somebody before, take that shit to trial, man. They was scared as hell. Just like 5 years ago. I said, man, take it to trial. What? I said, man, you're in family court. You ain't going to this. You ain't go. You're not. That ain't criminal, man. You ain't going to jail. It's civil crap. They playing you. Read your paperwork, man. They ain't have nothing. Ain't no prosecutor in there. It don't say the people of the state of. I'm in New York. It don't say the people of the state of New York versus the respondent. It says petitioner versus the respondent. I said, take your ass to the damn trial. Guess what? Didn't even go to a damn trial. Because they can't. Ain't no prosecutor. They got a prosecuting. What crime did you commit? Oh, he smacked her in the face and got scratches on her back. And, oh, she had a black eye. I mean, look, shit's going to happen. It's going to happen. They know there's going to be altercations, okay? They're going to be altercations. I'm going to do a whole video on that. Okay, I'm wary of doing a video on that because I don't want to get nobody no ideas, but I want to give you what the law says about this stuff and how they trick us and get us binded into this family court shit. Now, if it's just Ike and Tina and ain't no kids involved, look, y'all need to find a new relationship because y'all beating the shit out of each other for no apparent fucking reason, and that shit is criminal. And somebody gonna go to fucking jail, okay, and or kill somebody, all right. But when they know when it's criminal, they know this. That's why they place you in domestic violence through the family court. All right. They do this in New York State. They do this in other states. They do it in Florida. They do it in Texas. They do it in a lot of states, guys. All right. And they do that to get people in the family court system and caught up. It's easier. Those cases are easy for them than people just coming to court to custody because they got to find out. Well, we got to find out. Well, these were two perfectly upstanding individuals, never did anything to. Well, how can we make it ugly? Well, when we're in the courtroom, we'll bring up stupid shit. You'll have the lawyers, the court attorney for the child. They'll play you. They'll bring what kind of dirt you got on. What does he do? And then it gets into, well, he didn't do this. Or if there's two like pritzy up family that took care of their kids perfectly, guess how bad they start fighting? It'll be into, well, he didn't bring Susie home till 8:01, and she was supposed to be home at 8 o'clock. Well, Mr. Jim, you should be on time. That's what they do. They don't give a damn what level of shit y'all going through. They're gonna play into it. They don't get. You'll be like, wait a minute. Now, I don't seen J Rock and Sharquita have an hour and 3 hours off schedule, and they don't even give a fuck. But yet, I don't sit there and seen Jill and Bill, perfect couple who split up. Now they at war over a minute, over a grade. Like, oh, when he was with us, when we were together, and I was in it, they got all straight A's, and now Bob, they've been visiting him, and now Susie got a B minus. Oh, well, is there any way we get? They'll fight over this. Is what they do to us in these courts, man. They play off our emotions and situations. Eliminate that shit. Become stone. Become the law. You don't gotta talk because the law talks. Okay? You didn't do shit. They got no business telling you to do nothing. You got a right to raise your children how you see fit as long as you're not harming or neglecting your children. And that shit is hard to fucking prove. The reality of the fact is finding abuse and neglect is actually harder, okay, to find than you going along with the shit. It's hard as hell to find abuse and neglect, okay? It's hard. It be people on drugs, all kind of shit. Guess what? Hey, no, we can't. you'll hear the story. Well, he has not harmed the children, so there's nothing we can do. Until he harms them, there's nothing we can do. Well, there's crack on the table. Well, unfortunately, is there any police reports or anything? But even then, he's got to be convicted. You know, it's hard to do. Well, there's a molester in the house. Well, did the molester touch your son or your daughter? No, but he's a sex offender. Well, I mean, it's a concern, but there's nothing we can do. Man, I done seen it all, guys, to know when you ain't doing shit, stand on fucking business, okay? Stand on business. So I'm at my hour, and I'm about to get up off here. But yeah, man, subscribe to my channel, share the video, drop a comment, let me know what you think. You know, you could reach out, email me. If you don't want to drop a comment, you want to be discreet, you could just hit me up at yeahwrite2021@gmail.com. That's YEARIGHT thematrix@gmail.com. That's sorry. That's my other email. You know what? You could email me at familycourtmatrix.com. I'll put it in the description. It's familycourtmatrix.com. Thefamilycourtmatrix.com. I don't know. Or yeahwrite2021@gmail.com. YEARIGHT THE matrix MATRIX. Okay? Or yeahwrite2021@gmail.com. Sorry, I got these bathrooms, so that's probably coming out wrong. Just look for it in the description, guys. But much love to you guys, and I'll talk to y'all later.
So, when you hear me speak and the things I say, I'm speaking to my people.
If you ask me, I'll tell you what is wrong with the world. We're being desensitized from the things we should feel. Living our lives in these times while we suffer inside, and we can't see the problems because the masses are blind. Let's try and find a solution. We're not helping ourselves. We're walking around unattached and disconnected from self. Too comfortable and too scared. That's why we never rebel. That's why we catch me writing rhymes and trying to balance the scales. Put car on the roads. It seems like dawn of the dead. Zombies, robots, lemons being misled. It's like we're sheep to the slaughterhouse on the conveyor belt, about to self-destruct because we're under a spell. We search for purpose, but nothing ever surfaces. We need to be accountable because we're deserving this. Alarm bells are ringing, but it's like you refuse to wake up. Subconsciously you're hitting on the snooze. It's just another day in this world while we're living under the spell. When you travel through realms, just make sure you prevail. Elevate for yourself. You need to stop sleepwalking. We're blinded by the rubbish and glamorized materials. Imperialism has got us fearing rules. I'm tired of these rappers rapping about their cars and jewels. If you take a step back, they would define buffoons. The saddest thing is that they're in the minds of all the children. They keep our money motivated and that's how they kill them. But do we care? No. Young money's here. That's why I aim this 2 inches above your earlobe, so we can all start pulling in the same direction. Cause it seems to me like we've lost that connection. Man, you've sold your soul, so you show no affection. Get to know yourself and love your reflection. It's like your brain's a phone and you got no reception. Arm your mind with knowledge, use it as a weapon. Alarm bells are ringing, but it's like you refuse to wake up. Subconsciously you're hitting on the snooze. It's just another day in this world while we're living under the spell. When you travel through realms, just make sure you prevail. Elevate for yourself. You need to stop sleepwalking.
There has to be some accountability. You have to have some self-account. You have to say for yourself, what am I going to do that's right for me? me, man. When am I going to take ownership for what I do to me and my people?